I can hear the whole team sticking it. I know what it's like in my younger days of wearing leotards. I know what it's like to stick when you're a little off balance. You're pulling everything inside of you. You just don't take a step. Don't take a step. You try to hold it just long enough, then step out like you're going, ta-da! And really you're finally stepping off. So that persevering attitude is, I'm going to stick this. I'm going to stick it and I'm going to stay with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to keep staying with it till I see what God has to do down the road. Because I'm going to believe that whatever this is, there's something better coming. And this is a part of that. That my life can be a part of making our congregation go where they need to go, empower who we need to empower, help ourselves make decisions, and help you go where you need to go, and help you in your life from this. Because there's a great power in coming together. Ricky and I have been talking about, Sunday, it's 1 hour. Pretty close to 1 hour. And we can't quite understand why the sacrifice of 1 hour is so hard for our brothers and sisters to meet. Especially when a drag show can get 400 people. I'm saying, Ricky, we need to do drag. Yes, I thought maybe if we advertised ourselves as a perseverant drag show, we'd fill the house. We could get the little communion cup so everybody thought they had a drink. We put a little stuff in that, it never ceases to amaze me what the calling is of bringing people together when I already know and have experienced faith journeys with you guys.
Well, we talked about it, Pastor. There's 168 hours in the week. Mm-hmm. 1 hour we have church. 1 hour. I said, there are people out there who spend more time at Starbucks during that 168 hours a week than they do at church. Think about it. Yeah, or shopping. Yeah. But the whole thought here we're talking about, hey, we all have our trials, we have our tests.
We're going to endure till we see them.
But we can endure together. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we look at individuals and go, well, so I see what they're going through. Hey, it deserves them right. We knew it was going to happen, didn't we? Total wrong attitude. Total wrong attitude. Instead of seeing through people, saints, we need to see people through what they're going through. That's important. So it's very easy for us to see through people and judge them and think of whatever we can think of. It's much more difficult for us to see them through it. And that's where we're at, see them through it. We recognize, hey, it's going to happen to all of us. I was reading a little interesting story talking about trials and tests. A young man, his name was Brian Heiss, he's University of Utah in Provo. And he awoke on his graduation day by a leak in the ceiling of his student apartment. And water was hitting him in the face, so he jumped out of bed. Water was already on the floor. He didn't want to lose his deposit to get a fine. So he called the management company, and they said, well, quick, grab the vacuum and start drying up the water or whatever you can do. So he went downstairs to get to his car. Someone had let the air out of all 4 of his tires. Flat. He said to himself, I've got to get some more help. So he goes back upstairs. The water's rising. It's caused the door to his apartment to swell. So he had to give it a football block to get it open. He grabbed the phone to call somebody and standing, knee deep or shin deep there in water. It shocked him, so bad he pulled the phone off the wall. He said, well, it's my graduation day, so he put on his dress uniform. Oh, he was graduating from ROTC as a junior officer. So a friend was going to drive him to the graduation, but carelessly he sat down in the seat, and when he did, his bayonet punctured his leg. So they had to take him to the hospital, where they had to sew him up. So they took him back to his apartment. He went upstairs, opened the door, falling plaster everywhere. The plaster had killed a cage full of his canaries. And he ran across the wet carpet. He slipped again, injured his back. They had to take him back to the emergency room for the second time. Well, by this time, the newspapers had been alerted. And they wanted to interview the young man. They said, what in the world is going on? And the man said, well, it looks like God was trying to kill me, but kept missing. That was his perspective. And I'm thinking, have you ever had a day like that? Maybe we have, you know. But the reality is, life tests us. There are tests, you know, but we can face it with joy. You can consider it all joyous, is what James says, you know.
And as we endure and as we persevere, what we find out is that we start to grow up. We really do. We start the things that used to baffle us or have trouble. We talk to someone else. We know what their faith pattern. We start meeting those kinds of situations in a mature way. Most of you know it's kind of old now, but we all still use it, drama. You know, if you're done with the drama in your life and you walk back in it, drama. I mean, think about it. If youth, young people, are supposed to be working on their papers in class, it only takes one person to go, and the whole room goes. They have no maturity. They're young. You know, when you watch kids and that kind of thing, they're not to that place yet. But problem is, and I don't mean just in our church, in churches all over, there are people stuck in the Peter Pan syndrome. I don't want to grow up. So I'm going to have relationships that are not grown up. I'm going to have a spiritual life that's not grown up. I'm going to have all these kinds of things that go in my life that I don't face as a grown up. I'm, like we said, doubt in the wind blows me around. Blows me around because I don't want to step up to the plate. And James is saying, we got to grow up.
Yep.
We got to grow up. I know it's cool to still be young in a lot of ways, but there is a time when even youth wants you to be the adult. When they say, it's just like my best friend, I'm going, uh-oh, mother not grown up. And then when they change clothes, I really go, oh no! You know, Mom, you're wearing my pants. And I'm thinking, when's Mom going to be Mom? When is the adult, the maturity going to come forward? And it's very important because that maturity in the church gives us a base together to stand. And I believe for the last little while we've been standing through some tests as a congregation and as a church. Mm-hmm. You know, we had the challenge of being behind a lot. Yeah. And it was pretty dang scary. Still got another building payment. And a lot of people were jumping ship. Well, I just can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. Some of us, we decided, you know, sometimes that happens at your house. Mm-hmm. Unforeseen things happen. And an unforeseen thing happened. And the plea was, what can we do? I can't do it. One person cannot carry it. But we came together last week, and it was a miracle because all bills got paid. One of the back ties and one of the back house or building payments. All in one Sunday. Because we went home and we went, just like Paul testified. We went home and we said, okay, let's look at the bottom line. Was there something else I could do? For most of us, we need a week to think. We can't just take a checkbook and go, we've got to go home and see what we're going to move and we're going to do. And 1 week, when we were told, the next week the miracle happened. Now the problem is about if you don't have the kind of maturity that you understand the joy of giving and a happy giver, and you're still in that place of I have to be responsible. If you are still in that place, we're very much like our tithe will reflect it. Our lives will reflect it. Our finances will reflect it. Our relationships will reflect it. Our relationship with God will reflect it. And James is saying, in order for the church to survive, we've got to grow up. Because we really are dealing with an important thing. The lives of brothers and sisters. The lives of the people that we touch. It does no good when people feel like they can't talk to you because you're always unstable about something else. I bet right now you know someone you'd like to talk to, but you know they've always got so much on their plate, or they've always got a problem going that it's not there. And James really challenges us to say that faith, perseverance, and endurance brings this maturity. It doesn't mean, there's a difference between being a child when you come to God and being childish. You know, a child to God is in an innocent faith that our God is able. Believe it? Do you believe that our God is able to bring us through anything that gets thrown at us out of the congregation, that gets thrown when we're talking to other people? We're changing lives and minds one day at a time by just being who we are. There's so much about just being out and being who we are. I mean, out of the closet, you know, that's a possible thing. Because it takes all those things that are in people's mind. But let me tell you, if they see you always in crisis and unable to handle a relationship, and they see all the mess, and you know, you've had 40 lovers since they met you, it's a little hard for them to put a little stock in it. I'm sorry, that's the truth. You know, if they see you being solid, and they see you love someone else, and they can see that you're friends, you really help people that are down, and you reach out, they're going to go, what is the big deal? But if they have someone that they know, and all they get is the drama, poor me, all these things are happening. I've lost 80 people in my life. Like nobody loses 80 people in their life. What makes our people more important? Sometimes they drop like flies. That just happens.
Well, you know, Pastor, what I think it is, and this is what I see James telling us, what we need is a trial policy. Think about it. How many of you have house insurance policies? Hey, apartment insurance policy. You have car insurance. You have health insurance. Most of us do. Well, yeah, like I said, most of you do. And what James is saying, you need a trial policy. And the trial policy is found in God. God is with us.